Hey folks, Brian Blessing coming to you from Las Vegas here for BangTheBook.com, and we're geared up for the first leg of the Triple Crown for the Phillies. It's Oaks Day at Churchill Downs, and we're talking about the Kentucky Oaks, and you get that great opportunity with the Oaks Derby Daily Double. You get an overlaid price with the big fields and the big pool, so a real opportunity to cash a nice number. We pulled the Kentucky Derby hat out here for maybe a little bit of luck here, but we're focused on the Oaks, and as we look at this race, Bellafina, the number 4, is the favorite, and she's pretty deserving because some monster races on her resume with Flavia Pratt aboard. For Simon Callahan, won the Santa Anita Oaks, has won 6 of 8 times, but there's a real chink in the armor here, and that's all of her good runs were in California. She had one failed run, albeit it was in the Breeders' Juvenile Cup Fillies, but it was at Churchill Downs. And the other one that really concerns me is her last 3 races, she's faced field sizes of 4, 5, and 5. She's facing an army here, so there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. She will really be put to the test. There's no denying her ability. But boy, I just think there are real opportunities here, and the way this race sets up, something from just off the pacer, possibly even from out of the clouds, could be a factor here. I think her ability puts her in the mix, but I think you got to go looking for prices elsewhere. Some of the others to consider: Jaywalk is the number 7 at 8-1. Won the Juvenile Fillies here. Horse for the course. You got to look at that a little bit. And one in wire-to-wire fashion. Again, there's so much speed in this race, but you got to love the connections. Javier Castellano is aboard for trainer John Service, and tomorrow Jason Service with Maximum Security could have a big day, so there could be a little family tie there. The other thing you got to talk about, though, since that Juvenile Fillies win, she's yet to win, 0 for 2. Serengeti, 8-1. If you can draw a line through it, last time out in the Fairgrounds Oaks, she's been just spectacular. But in that race, she bled through Lasix, and that's a real concern. But another that has tons of ability, and the connections. Tom Amos, the New Orleans-based trainer, has Jose Ortiz aboard here, the number 13, that's Serengeti. Restless Rider is the 14, lower profile kind of rider, and this is what this race can bring out are great stories. Brian Hernandez, Ken McPeak. This guy knows how to get horses to peak at the right time. And you look 7 races, she always fires a good shot with 3 wins, 4 seconds, a stalker, second in the Ashland. Her consistency, you got to take a long, hard look at her. Out of Spain is the number 1, won 3 of 5, and won the Ashland. And this is one of these races that kind of out of nowhere it happened. But that could be the deal here with a 3-year-old. It can happen like that. And with further progression at a nice price, it can be a factor. What I love here is the connections with Dallas Stewart, who's always a guy that's in the Derby mix. His horse has always fired big shots on the big day. He doesn't have a Derby horse. So, number 1 out of Spain, you got to take a look at. And then Champagne Anyone is a real versatile sort. The number 10 is 6-1. And honestly, the price could be lower here, but I think you're looking at the connections. Ian Wilkes is a well-known trainer, but he's not been faring real well of late. And Chris Landeros gets the mount, a serviceable journeyman rider. And I think the winner of the Gulfstream Park Oaks certainly can contend in this race. And breaking from the 10 hole, that's a pretty good spot. The other thing, we got to watch for the weather. What's the condition of the track going to be? Rain is in the forecast. And if there are defections, the 2 also eligible horses also come out of the Gulfstream Park Oaks, and they can contend. So, see if there are any defections, and you may want to consider the also eligibles as well. But I'll tell you right now, the one I'm leaning on, and again, it's all about a little history and guys with that human touch, and fillies can be pretty quirky, and there's no one in the country better dealing with fillies than trainer Larry Jones. He just has that magic touch. He's won the Kentucky Oaks twice in the past. And I think Street Band, the number 12 at 15-1. You're taking a leap of faith here because out of nowhere, this last race in the Fairground Oaks, Serengeti kind of spit the bit, but it was visually impressive, sat in the pocket and relaxed, turned for home, went on emphatically, kind of under wraps at the end. And the real subplot and the little story, it's like the Super Bowl, right? There's always a little Hollywood story somewhere along the way in the Super Bowl. Well, here's the Hollywood story. It's Sophie Doyle aboard. It's Oaks Day. It's the ladies' day at the track at Churchill Downs. And Rosie Napravnik, of course, won this race twice, and it was a big, big deal. Sophie Doyle has just meshed with this filly who can be kind of a nut bar. She gets all fired up, but Sophie Doyle's able to calm her down. And there's something going on here right now, I do believe, with Street Band. At 15-1, sits just off the pace, and I think can be a factor. A number of those horses certainly can contend. That's the nature of the beast in these big races. You can make a case for a lot of them. But I'm going to go with Street Band, the number 12. I think can get the job done here. Serengeti, just a lot of ability. The 4, I think, has to be included as part of the mix. And I'll throw the Gulfstream Park winner, Chris Landeros, in the mix. The number 10. I'm looking at 12, 4, 10, but going to be keying Street Band as the one that takes one more step forward. And in this race, they're kind of evenly matched. There's no, there's horses with dominant win records, but from a figure perspective, they're kind of all in the same lot. And if Street Band takes a step forward that came from out of nowhere, certainly a bounce is a possibility. But if Street Band improves even the slightest, I've got faith Larry Jones can pull that off, and Street Band could make your day real exciting on a Friday on the Oaks at a nice price heading into the weekend in the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. Always fun to be with you at bangthebook.com. We did a great podcast. Really enjoyed doing that with Adam Burke this week. A lot of horse racing talk, some general betting strategy, and a real nice Derby preview on the podcast this week with Adam Burke. You can check that out right here at bangthebook.com.